My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, we have today the two readings, the first and the second, and also the feast speak of the same theme, one theme. There is unity in all this. The first reading speaks of good deeds as an expression of love. Love one another. From Hebrews, we heard about how not to avoid the community meetings. So let your good works be done in the community and known. That's the first reading. And in the gospel, as we have heard, that you are the light and let people see your light. And in fact, in first letter of John, chapter 1:5 speaks of that God himself is light. God is light. And there is no darkness in him. He is only light. Personification of light. And my dear brothers and sisters, psalmist speaks of in 119 Psalm 105 verse, your light is way for my feet. Your light is lamp for my feet. And he says, way for my feet, or for my way, is light for my way. And every Christian is like a lamp that should be put on a stand, not under a bushel. That's what Jesus is speaking of. And Matthew 5:14 speaks about, you are the light of the world. And let God be known through the words that you do, the good deeds that you do should preach about God himself. So my dear brothers and sisters, a silent Christian is a contradiction, is against the nature of a Christian. We have to reflect God's light if we receive God's light. There is a kind of a prejudice in us that we speak about something like, if left hand does something, the right hand should not know. That is one kind of prejudice. It is not equal to say not to do good deeds. It is to say that you don't focus yourself, you don't, boast yourself. But at the same time, the same Jesus talks about that you are a city built on a hilltop. A city built on a hilltop will be not hidden. Even if it tries to hide, you cannot hide because it will be seen very well, because it is on a hilltop. So you are also like a city built on a hilltop. So my dear brothers and sisters, what Jesus did, he said to people when he healed, you don't go and talk to everybody, but they went and talked at the same time. There are two things here. One is that the writer of the gospel is trying to tell that Jesus is being revealed by these people, and we have to reveal. We cannot keep our faith secret. So, my dear brothers and sisters, Ted Kennedy Jr. from America, at the age of 12, he lost his feet because of cancer. And thanks to his family, the way they took care of him, he was able to stand up. And he went to preach in America and Europe about his own situation and about his recovery. Speaking of his recovery, he said, it's not to my credit, but it is to my family credit. And when I speak this, or when I make this known to everybody, I'm giving back to my family and to my community. So we need to give back, or we need to speak about Jesus. So we need to stand for Jesus. We need not be secretive in our faith. Some people think, religion is personal, but not secretive. So what is your effort? 1 Peter chapter 2, 12th verse speaks about a good behavior. Good behavior in front of the non-Christians. Non-Christians should see you as a witness, not as an anti-witness. And today, we are behaving like as if we have not known Christ. And that's why Gandhi once said, I have not met a Christian. My brothers and sisters, Nelson Mandela speaks of light, because a lot of times we think religion is very secretive or it is personal, yes, but it is also at the same time, it is public. So Nelson Mandela, who was almost 3 decades in jail, has something to say about light, what Jesus is speaking of us today. He said, why should we not be great? Because we are the children of God. So if God is great, we have to be great. There is nothing. We should not feel that we are small, because God, our own God, our Father is great, and we are His children. And further to speak, he says, further speaking on the same thing, he says, people are afraid of darkness or light. We think people are afraid of darkness, right? But no, people are afraid of light more than darkness. What does that mean? What does he mean? He means to say, when I am in the light, when I become the light, people are afraid. You know why? Because I show them what they are. And I can tell from my own experience, people are afraid of you because you are the light of Christ. When they see you, they see Christ and they get threatened because you stand for some values, you stand for right things, then people are afraid of you. So not only that, people are afraid to be good and to stand for goodness. Why? Because they don't want to be identified. And the world thinks if you are not identified, then you are safe. So that's why people don't want to identify. So that is why Nelson Mandela was right when he said people are afraid of light and not darkness. To do good, because am I able? Am I capable? Will I be able to do? Or what if I fail? Yesterday I was with some gentlemen. They want to help Divyavani, and he wanted initially to help and then he withdrew back. And the fear he expressed was, what if I cannot deliver what I promised you? See, that is afraid of light, being afraid of light. See, a lot of times we think we may fail, so we don't want to try. So this is what Jesus is talking of. And there are reasons, like, what are the reasons? False modesty. Because false modesty is, I am not eloquent enough. I mean, you have to try. Who knows? Second reason is cowardice. I am timid. And I am afraid. I have fear. Third reason would be ignorance. You say, I don't know, so I don't want to try. Fourth reason, selfishness. Why should I? There are so many people who can do it. Why should it be me? It is not my responsibility. So it will be the same in the family, same in the community, same in the nation, same in the world. So everybody thinks, why me? Selfishness. And Jesus is warning us in a way. He's warning us. He says, you are a good steward. You have to, see, people, you have to be a good steward. Otherwise what happens? It will be taken away from you. If you are not a good steward, what you have also will be taken away. And for the one who has more will be given. What does that mean? This is about stewardship. See, a lot of times I'm told, even some priests also tell me, I mean, it's very unfortunate that we hear also priests talking like that. Why should we die? Why should we do so much? Is it not enough just you do the minimum? The minimalistic approach. It is like, why do you die? Just do something and then it's okay. Why do you want to kill yourself? But Jesus is saying, if you start hiding yourself, not putting your best efforts, you will lose it. Now let me talk about athletes. An athlete, if he is not exercising, what will happen? He will be not in the form. He will not be in form. So what he does, he exercises day in and day out. Only then he will be in form. Even artists, if he is not performing, what happens? Slowly he will forget about the art. And I can tell you, I graduated in 2008. I used to do editing, I used to do even graphics that time as a student. And now I don't do, so I am forgetting. Whatever I am exercising, whatever I am doing, I am remembering. But the rest, maybe I'll have to do it again, then I'll remember. So this is what Jesus says. You might even forget. So one day, there was one monk. He was meditating in a cave, dark cave, inside in the darkness, in the cave. And people used to come and give the food. So they continuously gave. After some years, what happened? He forgot to walk because he was not walking. Then he forgot to see even because he was not seeing light. He was all the time in the darkness. You get the point? So Luke 17:6 says, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, so we need to practice it. And today I will end up with this St. Thomas Aquinas story. He is a great story of the light. St. Thomas Aquinas was born in South Italy, and his parents put in Monte Cassino monastery, the Benedictine monastery, so that he becomes the abbot, that is in charge of the monastery. And he started his studies in Naples University. After finishing there, then he wanted to become a Dominican priest, but his parents didn't want. They wanted him to become a Benedictine monk. So they put him in the cell, because those days they had the family cell, They put him, but after 1 year also he didn't change his mind. So they agreed, and finally he goes to become the Dominican monk, the order of preachers. St. Albert the Great, he was the famous man that time. He studied there with him in Cologne. And so now to talk about St. Thomas Aquinas, he's the doctor of the church today. And nobody else has written as much as he has wrote. So it seems he never used to speak in the class. So everybody used to call him the ox, that is the mute ox. The mute ox. And suddenly they were surprised, because he went to Paris, did his doctorate, and then started teaching. And the first book on philosophy he started writing, and he also did apologetics on the apologetics of faith. And then he started interpreting the sacred scripture in a way that nobody did. And his name went up to papal court. And in 1266, he wrote the best book ever the world has seen, is Summa Theologica. And so far, till the Vatican II, that is considered the norm. Such a great work he has done. He is able to systematically defend the faith, and holistically. Till then only partly he was called angelic doctor. And he said one thing: all truth whoever spoke comes from the Holy Spirit. So he had that humility to accept it. Any truth is from God. On December 12, 1773, he stopped writing. On the feast of St. Nicholas, he stopped writing, because he celebrated Mass, he participated in the Mass, and he had a great experience of God. So what did he say after that? He stopped writing. Why did he stop writing? You may wonder, why did he stop writing? He said, I have seen so much. What I have written is all trash. It means in that one experience of God, he says, I have seen so much of God experience, and what I have written so far is a trash. flesh. It's nothing compared to that. That means I have written so many big books, but still it's nothing. And after 3 months, when he was going to the Lyon Council, he fell sick, and then he went to good confession and Holy Communion, and after 2 days he died. My dear brothers, he said this, he wrote this, I am receiving the price of my soul's redemption, because Jesus says, what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? All my studies, my vigils, that means so many nights, and my labors have been for love of you. I have taught much and written much of the most sacred body of Jesus Christ. I have taught and written in the faith of Jesus Christ and the Holy Church, to whose judgment I offer and submit everything. And he died at the age of 49. So what is that? So today God is asking us to be the light of the world. Yourself to be light. To do good by deeds and by your faith, by your action. And St. Thomas Aquinas is one example. So let us emulate him and follow him. And Mother Teresa was the light. So many people, she did not boast, but people saw her as the light. So what about you? Ask yourself.